Hey there, everybody. How's everybody out there doing? Is everybody getting anybody can hear me out there? Give me a number 1 if you can hear me. Anybody out there hear me? Waiting for people to come in. If you hear me, give me a number 1. All right. Everybody can hear me. Good morning. We'll give this a few more minutes and see if some more people jump in here. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Another chilly morning here in Florida. I think it was like 40 degrees this morning. Florida standards, that's chilly. But it's starting to warm up now, so it's going to be pretty nice. Hope everybody's got their coffee. Got a pretty interesting topic to talk to everybody about today. Okay. Prepper Days. Charles, I've got an air gun, anti-gun bill reminder video uploading. I gave you a shout out. Number 1. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll have to check that out. I heard something about they want to try to change a bunch of the gun laws or something. I haven't really checked into it, so I'll definitely have to check into it and see what it's all about. All right, we got a couple more people coming in here. Pardon me for 1 second. I'm gonna adjust some stuff here. See if this. I don't know what it's doing. All right, let's see who all's in here. We got Prepper Days. How you doing? JT, nice to see you. Oh, and why I'm thinking about it, JT, thank you very much for taking care of that little situation. Like I said, if you see something that doesn't look like it needs to be there or out of the ordinary, whatever, you do whatever you have to do. I fully trust you. My work schedule this past week has just been crazy. So I apologize if I didn't answer anybody or anything else, but work was just phenomenal. It's like Christmas time still. John Shower, good to see you. Big Kahuna. See who else is in here. JH is in here. Rhonda. Dave, Jan. Cook on Princess. I appreciate that, JT. Thank you very much. Sometimes, you just don't have the time. Trapper Bob, how you doing? Heather, how are you doing today? All right, we'll give it another minute here and see if there's some more people are popping in. Did you join in? Nice to see everybody. Hope everybody's staying nice and warm. Looks like most of the country's pretty cool, or just downright cold. I mean, even down here in Florida this morning, part of northern Florida was way down in the 30s and 20s. Along here, the Space Coast where I live, it was 40 degrees. Heather from North Carolina, how you doing? All right. We'll get another 15 seconds here, see if somebody else jumps in. Nikki, oh, Indiana. I grew up in Indiana, Nikki. I grew up in the Bloomington, Greenwood area. My mother used to work for IU years ago, long time ago. I was a little kid. Pepper Day, that was weird. My chat froze up and guess it was really cold. Could be, you know, you never know. All right. I'm just having my coffee. All right, so today's video, I just wanted to touch on real quick and stuff, and it was on the cost of surviving is going up, and is it too late for some? Which is a pretty sad thing that we're living in right now. Whether you tend to believe what's going on or anything else, but there are a lot of people that are really literally starving to death, that are living so far below the poverty rate. It's just crazy. The poverty rate in 2019 was like 10.5%. In 2020, it rose. It went up towards the end of the year to almost 11.3%. And in 2021, as of right now, it's up to 12.1, I think I read. Food prices, I don't know if anybody's really paid much attention. I know some people they just walk in the store. If they need it, they just throw it in the cart. They don't really pay attention to how much this is really costing them. But prices have gone way up. Now, I did do some comparing between like my Walmart order, okay? Now, I've been traveling 20 miles basically from my house because the Walmart that's around me, it just sucks. It's a small little dinky Walmart. They never have anything, and it's not even worth my time. So it's better for me just to drive and get everything that I need and be done with it, instead of having to go from store to store to store to store, if you get what I'm saying. Because sometimes you do have to do that. But I have been comparing the prices and stuff, and I went back and looked through my old receipts, because when you do your order online, it keeps track of all your orders. So you can go back and compare prices. And it's amazing how much stuff has gone up. Now, some of the stuff has only gone up in the cents department, but there's a couple of things where it's gone up $1 or $2, and you just don't realize it. So, I mean, everything, they just kind of like keep sneaking the prices up just a little bit, and does that really mean that for some people, with the prices slowly rising, is it too late for them to start prepping or being prepared? I know they want to send out another $1,400 on top of the $600 that's already gone out. And because the president, he did say before they passed this last one, he'd like to see $2,000 for all people, which is a lot of people that could really, really use that money. I mean, they are just hurting. The eviction notices and the poverty level is just unbelievable. The food prices over the last year have rose anywhere between 3 and 4%, depending on the area where you live. Some states, it might be just a little bit higher. You get out towards like California or something, and I know prices out there have skyrocketed. In 2021, the prices could go up another, from what the analysts are predicting. Okay, we're still pretty fresh in this year, but they're predicting another 1.5% to 3% total for this year, prices on your food and goods and stuff that you buy. For the simple fact is a lot of stuff is either slow to get to where it's going. The demand is higher than what they're producing it, because a lot of these companies and processing plants and warehouses and everything else that feed everything that comes to us in the stores, they're running shorthanded on employees, product, and everything else, so you get what you get, you know. And the poverty rate in 2020 surged from 34 million people in June, which is 9.3% of the population, to 11.7%, which is 41 million people at the beginning of January. That's a huge increase. However you want to look at it, that's a lot of people, and most of this is all on nobody's fault or their own. A lot of people were put out of work. They were put, um, they had no choice on what happened. If their company closed, their business closed, maybe they owned their own mom and pop store and they closed. This was no fault of their own. They were probably doing quite well before the whole Charlie Victor 19 came to town, but that just destroyed them, because a lot of the smaller businesses, they just don't have the funds to make sure that they have all this extra money that's, put back in case of, something like this happens. And nobody really, really, really thought that, we would be dealing with a pandemic on this magnitude and affecting so many people. The amount of people that it has affected is far reaching, and we'll probably never know exactly the number of people. You have the evictions, you have loss of jobs, the unemployment rate is through the roof. You have people, that are living whatever from paycheck to paycheck or from unemployment check to unemployment check, and it's not enough to pay the bills. Let's face it, most of the unemployment checks in most states, you're lucky if you get $250, $300, and they stopped the extra for the people that were unemployed. I think that started back up. I know that the new administration coming in, they want to make sure that that is kicked back up, which I believe that if these people are still unemployed, especially if you live in a state like we do, where tourism is so huge. I mean, without the tourists coming here, us people that live here and the Floridians, we bitch, moan, and groan about it all the time because they don't know how to drive. Now, anybody that's on here that is living in Florida, well, you'll know what I'm talking about. They'll be in the left lane on a 6-lane highway and decide they want to go that way at 80 miles an hour. And they want to know why there's so many accidents down here. There you go. So, but we depend on those people coming down here on vacations and everything else to keep our economy going. And that's why you see so many hotels are still closed. I know on my route, I've got 3 big hotels that are still closed, and everything else. And those people are all still laid off. You have these thousands of people in Central Florida that are trying to find jobs because they all do the same thing. Housekeeping, they work in restaurants, they work, how or whatever it is, groundkeepers, maintenance people. But if there's nobody here, nobody has a job. And these people just are just struggling. And it's just really sad to see. So the question stands, the cost of surviving is going up. So it's going to be harder for people that are even working on a minimal budget to try and put away any type of emergency backup food in case of something else happens. We just rolled around to a new year. It won't be long. And guess what? Hurricane season's going to be knocking on the door again. I know it's not till June, but time flies when you're having fun, and you have to start preparing a little bit early. So maybe in that case, maybe some people will be able to try and put up just a little bit. Maybe if they get a tax refund and they don't have to fork all that money to their rent or bills, maybe they could take even $100. Maybe that's a way for them to hopefully ensure and get, a little bit of a backup plan. If we get another stimulus, that'd be another way. But then again, for most people that are living in that poverty level area, it's probably not going to happen. That's the sad thing. The sad part is it just really too late for a lot of people to really build that 2-week emergency supply plan, a backup, of food and emergency supplies, whatever it may be? Because let's face it, if it's a family and say it's a mother, father, and they got 3 kids and you're living off of unemployment, well, you're probably not going to have a lot of money to try to build something up. So I would suggest that maybe people try to, sit down and do a budget and try to figure in some way, even if it's just $5, to try to put something in the the cabinet, storage area, wherever, so you got something to fall back on. Because until this whole Charlie Victor 19 thing is gone, which Lord only knows when that's going to be, and we get back to, quote, somewhat normal, but there's a lot of other things that are going on too that I'm not talking about in this video. I'm going to mention one thing, but these people are just, it's almost like they're doomed. They're going to be relying on the government to feed them, which breaks my heart in a sense, because we all know how that works. We all seen how they've took care of when Katrina hit. People were just like, they weren't getting the help and stuff that they needed. And, the government saying, well, we can't get there. We can't do this. We can't do that. I don't buy it, but hey, that's just my opinion. When it really boils down to it is, people are starving, people are going homeless and everything else. And somebody's got to take the bulls by the horn and get this mess straightened out one way or the other. Something's got to happen. There's just too many millions of American people that are in the poverty level, and it could be too late for some of them. They're destined to be living on the streets, living out of the cars, living in tents and everything else with their family and their kids. That's what really just, when I see that, because I do see it, believe me, I do see a lot. And it makes you get a sickness in your stomach because of, I don't like to see anything happen to kids. And I don't think anybody out there in the community or even on YouTube would want to see anything happen to kids. It's just not something that you really think should be happening in this country. And it is happening more now than it has ever before in history. You'd have to go back to the Great Depression times in 1938 to find anything even close to this. You know what I mean? But I do want to mention one thing, and most of you all out there know who AP is, Alaskan Prepper. He put out a great video yesterday on the grand solar minimum. Now, if you guys do not know what that is all about, I would suggest going to his channel and checking it out and watching that video, because a lot of people don't understand what the grand solar minimum is. And I'm not going to get into the whole discussion about it and everything else, but he put out an excellent video that explains it all right to you. And he found an article where there is scientific proof what is going to take place. And it's not pretty, folks. So you may want to watch that video so maybe you can get a heads up on what is coming, because even all the top scientists and the government agree on this situation. So go to Alaskan Prepper and AP's channel, and JT, maybe you could throw up his link if you would, please. and check it out. I'm sure most of you probably came from his channel that are on here. Maybe you know, but for those of you who don't, you got to really check out his channel. He does have a lot of great videos and everything else, but you have to watch that video. It aired yesterday. So let me get in the chat here and see what else was going on and see who all is here. Okay. Let's see. DP, how you doing? I think I already said hello to Heather's. Yep, Heather, Nikki, Debbie C. Oh, you're from Indianapolis. Yep. Went to school in Indianapolis also. West Side, years ago. I know it's not the same anymore. Prepper days, yeah, our wages don't go up. Yeah, well, this is true. A lot of places are all froze any raises and everything. You know, people, they may say, oh, you did a good job and we're going to give you 50 cents an hour, but whoa, wait, we froze your raise, so you're not going to get it. My wife's in that boat. Loretta, hi from Kansas. Good old Kansas. I haven't been out there in years. Trapper Bob says, I buy my rice and flour and sugar in 50-pound bags. Price is going up a few dollars each time. I had to cut back on each order. In other words, not ordering as much at a time. Yes, I mean, everything is, they're sneaking it in there. So they're hoping that people just don't really pay attention to what's going on with this, folks. They're trying to just sneak in these prices and just slowly increase them week by week, even if it's just a few pennies. Well, next thing you know, over a period of a month or two, now it's gone up 50 cents. It's gone up to $1, you know, and that's what I'm talking about. Is it these prices rising? Is that going to make it to where a lot of people just can't afford even to buy their weekly food? You know, I mean, come on. Jan, gas prices have started going up here in Northwest Georgia. Yes, ours went up too. There for the longest time was like $1.95 to $1.99, and now it's up to, I paid this morning, $2.27. Loretta, how you doing? Oh, she says she can't find 50-pound bags of nothing. Wow. That's not a good thing. That's wonder if that could be from more people trying to do what we're trying to do and be prepared, or if they're having logistical issues and they can't get the product. That's what I'm, you know, you just don't know which way this is going or what to believe, you know. For days, I keep telling Mrs. Days you can reuse cooking oil, but she won't listen to me. Am I wrong? It depends on what you cooked in it. Now, I have a deep fryer and I strain it through and I reuse it, but we use it usually to do like chicken and things of that nature. If you're going to fry fish, you can only use that really for frying fish because everything else is going to taste like fish. If you do chicken, sometimes you can get away with doing it a couple times and you still can do a few other things, you know, like fried zucchini or something like that. But I would say prepper days that, you know, you could reuse it. If you do fish, I wouldn't reuse it because everything's going to just taste like fish. Trapper Bob, reloading supplies and getting hard to find. I finally found a bag of 7 meg brass. The guy said he found it in the back room, been there since 2013, still charged me $48. It would have been nice if he would have charged you the price from 2013, huh? JT, yeah, when the snowbirds come down, things get really interesting down here. It's bad enough during the rest of the year, during the summertime, when it's mostly just tourists and stuff. But when the snowbirds arrive, well, put on your defensive driving. Prepper Day pedestrians get hit and run all the time. Yeah, that's like a daily thing down here, especially like in Orlando. Um, it's just, I don't understand if somebody walked out in front of you and you had nowhere to go or you didn't see them, just stop. What's going to happen? I mean, I don't understand. As soon as you leave the scene of the crime, well, man, once they catch you, now you're going to jail, you know? All right. All right. DP says she got my one daughter to start prepping her food. I'm so good for you. I'm glad you got somebody in your family, especially a close family member, to open their eyes and really understand and see what you're talking about and why. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, probably in my family also, most of them don't say anything because I don't know why. They just don't confront me. But whatever. But, you know, they probably all think that I'm crazy. I don't really care what anybody thinks. I'm securing my future for me and my wife and my mother-in-law. That's who lives with us. And if something happens, I got plenty of food, you know. And, you know, when this whole thing hit and I was stocked and ready, I was sending care packages to my mother up north, my sister-in-law up north, my kids that are up north, and everything else, whatever it took, you know. And that's why I do what I do, because this way here, I have some way to reach out and help someone, even if I'm not close by. You know, my mother lives 1,500 miles away from me. So, you know, but UPS delivers. They're a vital, we're vital employees, so we're told. But that's a great thing that you got her to start prepping. Pepper Bob, I bought my storage food at a bulk store, food store. I raised my own chickens and turkeys and rabbits. I made 12 pounds of rabbit sausage. Oh, I like rabbit sausage. I've only had that twice, and boy, is that really good. So good. Yes, yes. Trapper Bob, I do definitely agree. Since Blue Diamonds, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you here. Dollar DP Dollar Tree is a great for prepping. Yeah, you can find some cool little things in there, you know, to put up and prep and to put into your emergency supply kit. You know, you don't have to break the bank. You know, there's some things I wouldn't buy there, but I mean, there's a lot of things that you could build little kits so that you would have something, you know, and it's $1. It's great. Jan says, Trapper Bob, I've never heard of had rabbit sausage. It sounds good. Jan, if you ever have the chance, yes, definitely try rabbit sausage. It is delicious. And the only reason I had it is somebody that I knew up north, and he made it fresh. And he brought in some for a bunch of us different guys. And let me tell you, boy, was it good. I actually took it on a hiking, camping trip type deal, and we had it. JT, DP, my son preps. When I send him stuff or visit, I stock him up. Yeah, well, that's kind of what parents do, right? I mean, that's just, we're always looking out for them. All right, let's see. Just gonna freeze some of his rabbit. Just going through the chats here, people, seeing if I've missed any questions. DP, she just got my seeds to plant. Oh, that's a good thing, because those are another hot commodity. And if you watch AP's video, you're going to find out why that's even going to be a hotter commodity in the near future. It's a little bit scary, folks. All right, let's see here. Love Plugs is here. Oh my God, yes, GT horrible. It's my hometown, but I haven't lived there for 30 years. Nana Carey, how you doing? Since I live in Kansas, I've convinced. Oh, my chat keeps moving on me here. It's a farmer to fill a 50-gallon gallons of dry wheat from his silos, a little dry ice, and long-term storage. Hey, that's pretty good. Good for you. Montana Grizzly fan. Hey, how are you? From Montana. Beautiful country out there, huh? Probably a little chilly today, but beautiful country. Trapper Bob, when I was on active duty, me and some guys cooked a goat in the barracks. Laugh out loud. Well, hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to eat, you know. You get tired of eating that military food. I was never in the military. I know I did a video the other day I had on it was my brother's fatigues and stuff. He was in the original Desert Storm. He spent 30 years in the Army, and he gave me some of his fatigues and stuff when he came back. I cherish those things. I wear them with pride. I never, ever if I'm in public, people ask me if I'm in a service, and I say, no, I wasn't. You know, these were my brothers, and I wear those with great pride. And I've had them for years, and they still look brand new. Prepper Days, thank you very much. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. I do appreciate that. Cozy 53215 says, fast story. My 93-year-old grandma died in 1990. Going through her things, they found a closet full of toilet paper. True story. Yeah, you know, those old people, they stockpile stuff and they hide it. You know, because I think back in the days, way back years ago, I think, you know, if people had extra stuff and they were afraid of somebody finding out and maybe finding the stuff, in my grandmother's basement, when you walk downstairs, it was this big room with all these racks and shelves full of canned goods, not canned goods, canning goods. She canned everything. But there was this little like door, and it was always blocked. But if you open that door and you went in there, they kept all kinds of stuff in there. I only been in there a couple of times when grandma had the door open because I couldn't, there was like a desk in front of this thing. So it looked like, you know, it was just nobody ever went in there, but there was candles and the old style lanterns that you had to put the fuel in, you know, like the hurricane lamps. She had those in there. There was extra blankets and all this kind of stuff, you know. All right, I'll have to make Jan a mod. She can post a link. Okay, I'll have to figure out how to do that. I don't know if I can do it while I'm on here or not, but I will make you. I'll make you a mod, Jan. I know how to do it the other way. I'm still learning a lot of this stuff. You know, this is only my third live stream. Prepper Days, Anita Rise, California. Do you watch Dutch Earthquake Channel? Laugh out loud. DP, she's doing a Costco run tomorrow. Yeah, well, hopefully maybe you can find some stuff there. Rhonda says that the gas here is about $2.30 a gallon, so that's not too far off of us, you know, or $2.27. Coupon Princess, I buy 50/100-pound bags of supplies at the restaurant supply cash and carry. Oh, there's a good idea, folks. I mean, if you live in a, you know, I'm taking it you live close to a major city or something, where you have like a restaurant type supply store, and if you can get in there, that's actually probably a pretty good idea. Fast story. Already got that. Just going through the chats here. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody's questions or anything. Yes, I would say my grandmother was a prepper. Yep. She had 12 kids, her and my grandfather, when they were growing up. And that was, back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So everything that they had, they basically grew their own. They had their own chickens. They barter fresh vegetables and stuff like that for, things that they needed. The only thing that grandma did buy was flour and sugar. She made 5 loaves of bread a day. So, yeah. Granny Goose found seeds at our local Dollar Tree, 4 for $1, and they are heirloom. At that, I've used these before. They worked out great. Went to Sam's Club yesterday, and prices definitely went up. Gas here, $2.20. That's not too bad, and that's a good buy on those heirloom seeds. 4 for $1. There you go, folks. Hit your Dollar Trees before it's all gone, because once the word gets out, they'll be empty. Montana Grizzly fan, why Saudi Arabia, Vietnam, Morocco, and other nations are cold and hit with snow. We have none, and it's usually warm. This is not good. Yeah, that's probably not good. There's a reason why everything goes through these climate changes every, season. It's just what needs to take place to help keep a lot of different things in control. And when it doesn't happen, it throws off the ecosystem in a sense, because everything's like in a culture shock. Stuff starts growing that shouldn't be growing, and all of a sudden you get hit with 20 below zero weather. Well, now you just killed it off, and it's going to be real slow to come back. Jan says, I buy rice in 10-pound bags every time I go grocery shopping, about twice a month. Plus, hubby will pick up 1 each month. So that's a good thing. Love Pug says, just flying the JT. She was from Italy, old-fashioned way, 100%. I miss her. I loved it when I was little, working in her huge garden. We would sit and eat tomatoes, grapes, peppers. Miss those days. I can go along with that, because I miss the days of sitting on my grandmother's back porch snipping beans. I loved it. I'd give anything to have those days back. Not that I wish that anything in my life was different, but life was so simple back then. My boys tell me to stop buying rice, sugar, and flour. They say I have enough. Little do they know. That was Sin's Blue Diamonds. Rhonda, my mom came from a farm, Eastern Tennessee. She learned to use things until they wore out. Yep. They didn't throw anything away. And this shirt that I'm wearing, okay, this little throw shirt here, this thing is probably 20 years old. It was falling apart. The pockets were all falling off. Everything about it. This was my hiking, camping shirt that I wore all the time. And my wife took it to a seamstress or something and had him fix it. And it's like brand new. And it's 20 years old. And you can't buy them anymore. They're so comfortable. It's that lightweight, like polyester. Sometimes you just got to reconstitute and make things work again, give it a little love, and, it's going to keep going for you. Unlike most toasters nowadays, that could be a whole nother subject, but toasters that you buy nowadays suck. You need to find one off of eBay that's from the 70s or 60s and 70s, and those things will never die. Let's see here. Let me get back in the chat. Keystone 79. My great-grandfather washed out empty butter and Cool Whip containers and saved them. He had like 100. Yeah, they'd store stuff. My grandfather made a rack, and in that rack, he would take and he used baby jars and screw the lid to a piece of wood, and it was on a turn, so it would rotate all the way around. And he would put his nuts, bolts, and all that kind of stuff. He had them all separated, and you screw them on there, and he could just rotate it around. And it was baby food jars. It's pretty cool. Should be 20 below zero here. Montana Grizzly fan. It should be 20 below zero here. It is in the 50s. Wow. That is unbelievable. I understand a polar vortex is approaching us. Hopefully we get cold and snow. Yes, you are right. Life was better back in my youth. Yep. There's just nothing like it. Jan, laugh out loud. Since Blue Diamonds, I have a hubby pick up things that he doesn't know I've started stashing away. Little does he know. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably quite a few of you out there that do that on both sides, the men and the women, Love hugs says, me too, same here. Just worry about getting into trouble for running over there at age 5. She lived around the corner and grandparents lived across from her. I use baby food jars for my nuts and bolts. Yeah, they actually work pretty good, I use bowling cue jars too. That's a pretty good idea. I have 30-year-old, JT says, I have 30 years old t-shirts. I turn them inside out and wash and hang to dry. 5 minutes in the dryer takes the wrinkles out. Yep. That is so true. Granny Goose, awesome, JT. Love roasting tomatoes with olive oil, rosemary, and pink salt and pepper. Yes, that would be very, very good. Now you're making me hungry. Breakfast this morning was a banana, and that's my fault. I got up early this morning, ran down to Walmart because I had my order scheduled for pickup because the Walmart that I go to is too far to deliver. So I ran down there at 8. Good thing is that time of morning on a Sunday, there's nobody on the road. So you can just cruise down the interstate, cruise right back. So what does everybody out there think about the cost of surviving and how it's going up? Do you guys really see it in your area? Is it something is it maybe just my area, or is this across the board? You see, a lot of your products going up, or maybe just a few of your products going up? I guess it would be a question to everybody out there. What are you seeing? Is it, more localized when you're in a more populated area? I figure if you live in the country and stuff, maybe, if you're small mom and pop stores in your small towns, maybe they're not affected as much, maybe because of the lower population. What do you think? I don't know. It's just a question, some places have been charging the same prices for the same stuff for years in some of these small towns and small little mom and pop stores. And, especially if they're doing fresh meats and things of that nature, the price has still been the same for 10 years, but sometimes they're the one that's raising and butchering and doing all the work. So, and the people that are buying from it are locals, All right, let me jump back in the chat real quick. Yeah, no, sis, and hey, welcome. Food going up, especially meat and paper goods. Yeah, paper goods are definitely going up. Near my neighbors are talking and relatives of borders to help with the bills. I have seen and heard of too many vehicles being repossessed. Yeah, that's a big thing going on. The cost of everything is going up for animal proteins. Yeah, I did run across an article where they were talking about the price of grain and that type of stuff for feed for all the different, like farm animals and stuff. Um, so I'm going to suggest, well, more than likely, most farmers are probably trying to do whatever they can to harvest their own stuff to feed their animals, like through the wintertime, um, to get them through the spring and summer where they can just graze, because it's going to put them out of business. But once again, we all know how everything is, the government treats, and even the local governments treat the farmers. They all get screwed, that the people that we most rely on for our food, and we are always nickel and diming them to death. I never could understand that growing up. I just blew my mind. But it's the world we live in, I guess. Jam prices are going up across the board. Yes, seems to be that way. Going up in Indiana, also becoming harder to get. I paid almost $20 for a bottle of zinc. Wow. Holy cow. That's a lot. Since Blue Diamond, it sucks. Some items are nearly double in price here. I'm trying to get all I can as cheap as possible. Yeah, you definitely, nowadays, I would say that doing your homework and doing your research on any of the stores that you may be going to, or are within a decent driving range where you're not wasting more gas than it's worth to save, $5-10. But definitely doing your research and making sure that you can find the best deal out there on that product, or waiting to, if a store has it on sale once in a while. Like right now, I'm waiting for coffee to come back on sale. I drink Maxwell House half calf, and usually I used to be able to get it at Walmart. They don't carry it anymore, and Publix has it, but when it's not on sale, it's like $10.99. So when it goes on sale for $6.99, which should be coming up soon, then I go in there and buy 4 or 5 of them. This way I have them. Yes, price is going yesterday. The spouse said to have more no meat meals. Yeah, the only price that I've noticed has stayed the same is Walmart's chicken breast is still $1.99 a pound. And that's the only thing that I know of that is still the same price now than before Charlie Victor 19 came to our lovely town. I agree, meat prices are through the roof. Yes, I mean, if you want, ground hamburger and stuff, a lot of places it's, like $4 a pound now for 80, or that's for 70. What is it? 70/30. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Montana Grizzly fan, you are right on the grand solar minimum. Soybeans are over $13 a bushel. If we do not get moisture, those who need it most will not be able to grow crops and have their animals graze. Yes. Local realtors in my area are seeing an uptick in buyers seeking to leave Baltimore, D.C., and Philadelphia. Not sure if that's related to the cost or personal safety, or both. I don't know. There's if you lived in a big city or something like that, there's a lot of people that have exited the big cities. There's all kinds of stuff about that, where land that was out in the middle of God's country all of a sudden now is like worth, more money than what it is in the big cities, because a lot of people just want out. They want the safety of they have nobody around them. Just leave me alone. I just want to live and mind my own business. JT, Bill Gates wants to do away with animal protein, wants us to eat GMO foods and bugs. He is now the largest private owner of farmland. Yes, I have seen quite a bit about that. I know Alaskan Prepper talked about that. Ice Age Farmer did a big thing on that. But I don't know. At that point, it may be vegetarian time, if you know what I'm saying. I just don't know if I could eat bugs. It's like I don't want to be thrust into survival. You know, I'm not going on the show Survival, and I have to, survive 100 days eating bugs. Maybe Bill Gates will start his own show up and put that out there to be a, hey, look, you can survive. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll have to pitch that to him, Granny Goose. Gates owns these meatless companies, Beyond Burgers, and I believe the Impossible Burger. He sold his stocks to his own Gates Foundation. He owns these companies with some of the Hollywood elites. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. They're all in cahoots on this. It's a sign of the times, people. The people that have the money, all these big, rich billionaires and everybody else, they're the ones that are trying to control everything we do, eat, say, anything else, and they use their money and their power to do it. Unfortunately, that's just the God's honest truth. And just like Granny Goose just said, it's right there, Montana Grizzly fan, you can get Folgers spelling freeze-dried coffee on sale at Costco. If I was concerned, I would go to Costco or Sam's and get canned meat, fish, and chicken. You are right, JT. Yes, I do have canned meat, fish, and chicken, and all that kind of stuff. I've got canned salmon, that type of stuff. That's all in my emergency stockpile. Granny Goose, he's a complete psycho. Satan own him. Good one, JT. Blue Diamond, Alaskan Prepper put up a video where it okay to mealworms. I think it was, or I think it is. Yeah, something like that. It was. I don't remember. I don't really remember the video, but I remember him talking about that, about how they wanted to start, changing our food products and what they wanted to add to it. I know Ice Age Farmer did a huge thing on it. Yeah, old board. Well, hey, welcome. And I totally do agree. Gates and his cronies won't be eating freaking bugs. Guaranteed. Yeah, I could almost bet you they'll have caviar and that type of thing while we are eating everything else. GP, in my town, we have a bug fest every year. Lots of edible bugs to eat. I understand there are a lot of bugs out there that you can eat. I guess it's just on your preference. If it was a life or death situation, well, obviously, I would choose to chomp on a bug. But if it's not, I'm not choosing to chomp on a bug. I'm going to graze with the cattle first. Alaska Prepper, hey, good morning. AP, do me a favor. Just throw your channel up there, would you please? I was talking about you earlier in the show here, and I want everybody to have everything because I wanted to check out your video that you did yesterday on the Grand Solar Minimum. I thought that was just an outstanding video, and I want people to check that out. So please put that up. We drink half caffeinated coffee too, so hard to find now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that because I could buy it at all the stores, and then it just slowly started going away. And now I'm down to one store, which is Publix, and they're the only ones I can get it at. Canned meat, you get more beef. Yes, we have a ton of canned meats. We have Sam's, love their canned chicken. Yes, the Sam's canned chicken is really good. Montana Grizzly fan, just as bad as Gates buying land. He is buying seed companies and pushing GMO seeds so we cannot harvest our own seeds. Thank you. Yeah, well, that's half the problem. It's if you can't find like the good old fashioned heirloom, just regular non-GMO seeds, where once you plant them and you harvest and you can get your own seed out of your own product, so you maintain that heirloom seed, they're slowly trying to change all this up, and eventually they will have total control. So you have to start doing it yourself and maintaining and keeping those seeds rotated in your stock from year to year, so you know exactly what you have and what you're eating, and it hasn't been modified from some scientist somewhere. You want to just make sure that you're doing all that. That was a very, very good point. Alaskan Prepper, hello everyone. I'm glad I caught you live, getting ready to edit a video, so we'll be in and out. Not a problem. I just appreciate you popping in. You're welcome here anytime you want to pop in. Agenda 21 2030. He's a globalist. JT, Alaskan Prepper, love your videos, especially on global warming. Jan's back again. JT, collect your heirloom seeds. I keep a ton in the freezer. Yes, that's a great place to keep them. If you can get a hold of them and you can buy them and stockpile them, throw them in a freezer, they'll last. What I would do, what I've done with a couple of mine, is I vacuum seal them in a vacuum sealed bag, and then I put them in the freezer. It can't hurt. And just to make sure that I have some type of original heirloom seeds, so if the day ever rolls around, right now I don't really have a lot of land to plant. I do stuff in, buckets and that type of stuff, tomatoes, peppers, but if push comes to shove, the problem being is my backyard, yes, there's grass there, but it is all sand. So you would have to bring dirt into the mixture here because it's just total sand. There's no dirt to be found. I live like on a sand dune of some kind, but if you live in an area where you have really nice dirt, especially really dark black dirt, that's really full of good nutrients and everything else, by all means, you should, even if you don't have a garden right now, buy the seeds. So if worse comes to worse, you can put the garden in and you have good fertile ground to do it in. Now, people that, there's people that live in parts of the country where it's clay. Now, see, you're in the whole situation kind of like I am. Only problem is I can add dirt to mine and try, growing things. You have clay, so you have to have raised beds. So that's something that you would have to plan for, so you could have a raised bed above the clay. Let me get back in the chat here. DP says, my hubby bought me a vacuum sealer recently. Love it. Yes. I think a vacuum sealer is probably, especially if you get the ones with the attachments, so you can do jars and you can do the little bags, like the sandwich bags and all that kind of, if it has the attachment to it, it is one of the best investments that you can make out there, especially as a prepper. You're just going to love it. You can vacuum seal, like today. I got to do some chicken breasts. I picked up chicken breasts, so I got to vacuum seal it and get it in a freezer. I'll be doing that once we're all done with this live stream today, But it just prolongs the life of everything that you put in there. There's just no way to go wrong. And you can go right online to Amazon and order the bags. They come in a roll, and you can get them on there. They come in like a four pack, and they're less than $20, and they'll last you for quite a long time, unless you are vacuum sealing everything. you know. But it's still, I mean, it's just the way to go. A vacuum sealer is definitely one of the top gadgets you want to have in your kitchen, to, especially if you're putting away food and everything else for long-term storage or whatever it may be, because it's going to save so much money in the long run, especially for freezing meats, or you run into a great deal at the store when you vacuum seal them. You just extended those things. Those things will last for a year in the freezer. People don't realize that. You know, most of the time you throw it in a regular freezer bag, you throw it in the freezer, it gets all crystallized, and it's, you know, you get the freezer burn on it. Well, when you put it in a vacuum sealer, it doesn't do that. No air can get to it, and it's vacuum sealed, and it'll last up to a year, if not maybe a little bit longer. You know, I haven't gone anything past a year, but I've had stuff in there for 6, 7 months. You pull it out, it tastes just like you bought it yesterday. So it's a definite, if you people don't have one, you want to make sure you check it out and get one. And then I agree with JT. You're going to love it. You're going to love that vacuum sealer. I love pugs. My sealer does not have the kids attachment. I plan on getting one for the lids. Yes. Yep. You get something, because then you can do, you know, in your jars, you could do rice and all different types of dry goods and everything else, and you vacuum seal them right in there. And I mean, a vacuum sealer is just the top-notch thing to have, especially in this day and age with prices going up. So if you catch a good deal or something, this way here you can secure that it's going to last for quite a while. You know, you have a way to store it, you know. Yes, can we put this? Soul bags are great. I grew potatoes using them last year. Oops. Oh, I think I just figured out. Okay, Jan, I just figured out how to make you a moderator while I was on here. See, it's a learning curve here, folks. I just have to click the right buttons and see what it says. So, Jan, you are now a moderator. DP, I love it. About meats from Costco and vacuum sealed them. Yep. Yes, no lid attachment with mine either. Found some on Amazon. Yeah, Amazon's a great place. Amazon is really good at a lot of things, but I would just urge people, really don't just rely on Amazon to tell you that they have the best price, because sometimes they don't. Perfect example is when I bought my vacuum sealer, I actually got it at Walmart $50 less than what Amazon said was the best price. So doing your homework when dealing with Amazon is probably a really good thing. If you live especially if you live in a smaller town, not so like major metropolitan, all that, if you can buy local, especially right now, to help out any of the local people, because they're all struggling. I tried to do that too. I haven't done as much as I used to because of the whole Charlie Victor 19, and some of the places were closed. I think some of them are reopened now. But if we can just help them out, especially the small guy, in your local little town or something, every little bit helps. If you go in there and, say it's a local little store, you go in there and you buy a loaf of bread, a gallon of milk or something like that, but you're helping him out instead of driving to Walmart. Walmart's got plenty of money. Walmart and Amazon's got plenty of money, and they don't care about me and you. They really just don't care, because they're making the money. But the small guy, he's the one that's dependent on me and you for coming in there and, buying any of our products. It's clothing or food or whatever it may be. Maybe you're getting yourself a coffee mug, whatever you don't know. Maybe they make the stuff. It's all handmade. There's love into it. That's what you're paying for, then the fact that, it's his business, his livelihood, and you're supporting it. They appreciate it. I came from a small town, so I pretty much know how that works, you know. Montana Grizzly fan, thanks to Alaskan Prepper, I have learned to can hamburger meat. As soon as I get more mason jars, I will can more meat. Yes, he does have quite a few videos on that. I haven't done that. I haven't got into canning. I've been around it all my life, but I haven't personally done it. And I would definitely say if you're looking for some good videos on that kind of stuff, he's got some really good videos. Princess, I think it was Living on a Dime who had a video about using a brakes bleeder to use with the lid vacuum sealer attachments for grid down. You know, I saw something, I don't know who it was. Somebody did use, it was a brake bleeder, and they had it, and they just pumped it. It worked. I don't know anything about that, but it's out there. Just probably just go on search and just search right through it. Yes, as soon as my stimulus hits, it's getting in order. There you go. Check online for sales. Yes, I definitely agree. You know, I live in a small town, all cities over an hour away. So CD, you deal with what I'm talking about. You know, you deal with that small community, small town, feeling and everything else, which I miss tremendously. You know, I used to be able to walk in the store and you knew everybody, no matter where you went. You run into all kinds of people that you know. And that's how you found out information about what was going on, because everybody was kind of like chit chat. There were certain places you could go, and that was the gossip center, if you want to call it. But sometimes that was really nice. You got to socialize with all your friends, and sometimes your family would be there. I mean, when my dad was still alive, God's rest his soul. I mean, it was just, I'd run into my dad. There he'd be sitting in the donut shop, having a donut and a cup of coffee, along with all the other old guys, Well, thanks. I have 4 sites bookmarked for them. Pugs. Let me see if I can catch up in the chat here. Sheila Smith, hey, good to see you. Agree, buy local and small businesses. Yes. It's always good to buy local if it's all possible. Sometimes it's not, but love pugs. I've seen hard at in small towns next to the Amish country. Oh, I love Amish country. There's a lot of people that don't like Amish country, but I like Amish country. We used to go to northern Indiana up there, and you get up around the Michigan border, and that's all Amish country up there. And I remember going into the diner that was in the little town that was up there that my uncle lived in. And we always went there for either breakfast or dinner, one of the two, or both. And you never had such, it's all home cooked food and cheap. It was really, really good. And the Amish are really good people. I mean, a lot of people knock them and everything else, but, they're really, I have great respect for them. Sorry, my phone loves changing my words. That was Jars. Don't you love that voice to text? Oh, that thing gets me all the time. Half the time my kids, they'll respond, "What are you saying, Dad?" It's like, never mind. Because I got big hands. So, when you're trying to text on this little phone, so I always do voice to text. And then if it doesn't work, I just send it anyway, especially if it's to my kids, I'll figure it out. You know how that is. From Philly, will never move back. I checked my local stores online sites for sale. Yes, Jan. What states are you in now? Just want to go back through, make sure I didn't miss any. All right. Well, we're a little over an hour now. We're pushing an hour and 10 minutes. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Has anybody ever noticed that? Montana Grizzly. Sadly, I have heard the same thing. GT, now is not the time to stop canning. When I see lines of cars 15 miles long for food banks and people living in tents, I fear this is only the beginning. I would definitely agree with that statement, Montana Grizzly fan. You hit the nail on the head on that one. I would not stop prepping, even if you feel that you have enough or you don't have room. Make room. Find some way to make room. If you have to stack it to the ceiling, whatever you need to do, I would not stop, because I don't think that this is going to go away anytime soon, and I think it'll get worse before we get better. And I really hate saying that, but that's just the feeling I get, especially when you see what I see on a daily basis. Granny Goose, I got my mason jars from Orlando, Florida recently. There, a friend brought to me. I can't find jars here where I live. Yeah, jars are pretty scarce. I have noticed sometimes Publix has them. Last time I was in Walmart, that was 3 weeks ago, I think. I went into the store and they didn't have any. They didn't have any canning stuff. Nothing. It was pretty cleaned out. So a lot of people are jumping on that bandwagon. James Davis, hello. AT, about an hour or so from Myrtle. Oh. Old board, how you doing? JT, I love the Amish. I wonder if my dad's family grew up hearing them speak Penn Dutch. They had a farm in Pennsylvania, and no great-grandfather broke from the family. Well, maybe you do have a little bit of Amish in you. We've been stacking stuff behind our sofa. Hey, wherever you got to put it. You know, I mean, I wouldn't stop people. I would just keep going. You just want to make sure you have plenty, especially with the rise in prices. And if you watch AP's video, my video is, you're going to understand what I'm talking about if you will go back and watch his video from yesterday. It'll all come together and you're going to say, wow, between those two videos, I need to keep going. And I'm not saying that to push his video, push me or anything else. It's just a fact, people. Don't let your guard down. Don't stop. Don't let your guard down, because you don't want to be caught at the other end of the realm here. You don't want to be like waiting in these long lines for food, which unfortunately I really think that's why I said in the name of this video, is it too late for some? Because I believe it is. I really personally believe it's too late for some people. You know, when we're creators and we try to put stuff together and everything else, and I know people think, oh, you just throw a video together, it doesn't take anything and all that, and which is the furthest from the truth. You know, most of us creators, I put a lot of time and thought into what I want to do and research, and I try to make sure that everything that I'm talking about and bringing you and everything else, that is true, and that it's good information for you in the community. That's the whole reason I started this channel. You know, and then, you know, you have all the editing and everything else, and you want to make it look good and all this. But in the end, the whole point of this is you want to get the point across that what I'm saying for a reason, and I'm trying to look out and trying to give people a warning, just like a lot of the other channels, Survival Living, AP, all these kind of channels, they do such a great job. You know, they're getting the word out. They're just, it is what it is. And we're just trying to help people see beyond the media and on, you know, what the media is putting out there and what it is, you know, being pushed down your throat. Because a lot of people are point blank, like horses with blinders on them. And we can't be that way nowadays. 50 years ago, maybe you could have got away with it. Nowadays, no, you can't. You have to really be thinking outside the box and concentrating on exactly what is going on. You know, and I just worry that people are just going to miss the boat, if you want to put it in that term. And all right, I'm going to look through here real quick and see if we got anything else to add here. JT, that would explain why I like doing things the old way. Yes, I totally do agree. Montana, what I love about this community we are in, it's almost everyone is kind and complimentary, no judgmental anger or criticism. You cannot find that in the rest of the world. Yes, and that's one thing that I will not tolerate. If somebody starts attacking anybody or anything like that, all my moderators, if you're on here and you're listening and everything else, if you ever see that, gone. I don't want it on here. We're on here to help each other out, get the information out there, and everything else. And every little bit of information helps somebody. Remember that. Every little bit of information, no matter how minor you think it may be, is helping somebody. Maybe not today. Maybe they'll rewatch the video later or something like that. That's why I always ask people, you know, comment on the videos that I do, because somewhere down the line, somebody's going to watch this video, that video, or something like that. And your comment could be that one piece of information they were looking for. That's why we're here. That's what it's all about. James Davis, Blue Ridge Pepper, AP. All right, folks. Montana Grizzly. Yes, JT and Jan, I dumped Cablevision table. I'd rather learn from people in here or on other sites. Thank you for your video, Survival Preparedness for Beginners. You're welcome. And you know what? I really enjoy doing these things. I enjoy doing the videos. I enjoy trying to revisit some old videos from over a year or so ago and try to redo those. And, you know, obviously when you're first starting out, you know, your video quality just sucks. You know, so, you know, as you do more and more and more, you know, you get better and better and better. So, you know, the good old saying is practice makes perfect. It doesn't matter if I'm practicing making videos and using different techniques, different lights, different cameras, and all that type of stuff. It goes into the also your prepping. All right. You're learning how to prep. If you're new to prepping and everything else, you're learning by mistake. You're learning how to do things. You watch different videos and you do all this kind of stuff. You do your research and then you start putting everything together. And you have to make mistakes to learn from your mistakes. A lot of things nowadays, a lot of people think that everything's going to be handed to them on a golden platter. Well, it doesn't. Life isn't like that. Life is, you have to earn and basically learn what it is you want to do, what you want to prep, how you want to prep it. You can watch videos and take people's advice, but in the end, you have to, you may say to yourself, hey, I wonder if this would work. And the only way you're going to know is if you try it. I mean, come on. You have to, sometimes you have to look outside the box and try something. And it may work really well, or it may fail. And just because it fails doesn't mean you're a failure. You just chuck it up as it didn't work. So I'll try it this way. You see what I'm saying? And then if it, you know, you run across something like that, and especially if it was like on a video that you've watched, not on my channel, on anybody's channel, I would suggest that if you took their advice and you tried something and it didn't work for you, but you tried something else, go back and leave a comment on there, because more than likely there might be somebody else that is in the same boat as you. So it doesn't matter if it's my channel, like I said, or anybody else's channel. This way here, you get the information out there. It's all about the information. All right, we're running a little long here. We're on almost like an hour and 20 minutes. And I'm sure a lot of people are probably getting tired of hearing me talk. But I appreciate everybody that has come in here today. I appreciate everybody that's been supporting my channel, sharing my videos. You know, JT, thank you again for watching out for things that are pop up on the the videos and the comments and stuff. Thank you again for keeping that under control. I will be doing another live stream next Sunday at 11 a.m. So if you pass the word around to your friends and family, if you'd like for them to join, that'd be great. I see every week we go up a little bit more. I think it was up to like 41 today. So, hey, each week we go up a little bit, and, you know, that's all I can ask. You know, I hope everybody got a little bit of good information out of this. I hope you all have a wonderful week. It's going to be a quite interesting week, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to talk about that on here. And keep checking your prices and stuff. You may want to really put a plan together of what you may want to, you know, go through and make a list of what you may be just a little short on, but you want to top it off just to make sure you have enough, because like I said in the very beginning, the cost of survival is going up. And unfortunately, it's too late for some. Don't be one of those, and don't stop prepping. Want everybody to be safe. Stay safe. Keep prepping. And until next week, I'm Survival Preparedness for Beginners, and I'll see you all next Sunday for the next live stream, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all again for coming in. Thank you for chatting, comments, and everything else. I really appreciate it. And coming soon, I'll throw one more thing in there. We'll have another giveaway coming up soon. So I'm starting to put all that together. We'll talk more about that next Sunday. Till then, you all stay safe. Survival Preparedness for Beginners, I'm out.